In the same manner as company like us put out results on a quarterly basis to indicate the health of a company, the government puts out the budget on a yearly basis to give us an indication on the state of the economy and some of the choices that the government is making and the direction that it will like to see the economy. In that sense, I think the focus is really on some of these choices that the government is making is something that one is looking at. Is the focus on fiscal consolidation, or is it willing to give away fiscal consolidation for growth? Is the domestic rating important, or is the foreign rating important? And there are some of the obvious choices that one would need to make, one versus the other. And I think some of these dilemmas that the government is grappling with is something that one should look out for during the budget. To my mind, there are some 2-3 obvious things that the government should focus on. One is to ensure that it is putting more money into the rural economy to be able to drive demand within that rural economy, and therefore get the corresponding benefits to the larger economy. The second is to ensure that the Prime Minister's vision of housing for all is taken forward through measures to ensure that affordable housing is given a fillip in this budget. Housing also has ancillary benefits in terms of the benefits to the larger industries like steel and cement, but also consumer durables like TVs and air conditioning, etc. And I think so. Therefore, in that sense, it is a very, very critical part of the economy. And finally, of course, one of the things that we've been grappling with is jobs, and so therefore I would certainly like to see what the government can do in terms of driving job growth in the current year. I think there's a lot that's already been done to drive digital transactions. We started off with demonetization, then the introduction of GST, and I think both these measures have, in a sense, increased the cost of cash transactions, and we've seen significant improvements in terms of digital transactions in this country, whether it is through the use of debit and credit cards, the use of mobile phones, the use of wallets, and of course, as manifested by the phenomenal growth that we've seen in UPI, where pre-demonetization the numbers were in very, very low millions. Today we are doing 140 million transactions every month, and the growth on UPI continues to be explosive. Banks like us are also building out the ecosystem for people to enable people to use UPI. You can use it on Uber and Ola. You can use it on to pay LIC premiums. You can pay on IRCTC and so on and so forth. So therefore, the ecosystem to be able to use UPI will only continue to increase as we go forward, and I think that itself should be a huge fillip to the growth of digital transactions in the country. The government has also waived MDR for transactions up to 2,000 rupees, which once again should be a big boost, particularly for small merchants.